Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Last week I did my cassette collection and this week I'm doing my CD collection. I have 202 CDs, so this is going to be a long video, but I'm going to try to fly through these as quickly as I can. But then again, I have 200 CDs, so just preparing you for that. And of course, all like the special editions and digipacks I'm going to try to show off as much as I can. I'm not just going to put it up in front of the camera, just show it, and then move on to the next. I'm going to try to show it off as much as I can. So, I'm going to start off with starting off with the digipack. I've got 300, the original motion picture soundtrack. Music by Tyler Bates. I was pretty lucky to find this. It's kind of like, it's designed almost like a box set for like the movie itself. The booklet is sealed, like glued in with the digipack. So I didn't even know that image was in there. And since I'm on that topic, there's going to be some graphic artwork in this video, so be warned. There's a disc, really cool disc too. I like cool disc. And then it's got these cards that are like straight out of the box set. My older brother William, he was in episode 2 of my music podcast. These cards are like straight out of a box set he has of 300. So it was really cool. It's not just like some typical... Sorry, I didn't mean to hit the camera like that. It's not some typical release, you know, just jewel cases. Cool digipack. Really cool. Alright. Up next, and like I said about the graphic content, I have Global Flatline by Aborted. This is a digipack. Wicked album, wicked band. Some nice zombie stuff, so Global Flatline. Awesome death metal. I need to adjust the camera. I'll be right back. I need to do some stuff with this camera angle. Alright. I just had to move it higher. I was hitting the lens with the last CD. The next one is the Necrotic Manifesto by Aborted. Awesome album. I'm just gonna hit all kinds of things. Abysmal from Ashes. Awesome band. This is one of the few bands that I actually have the entire discography of, which is not a hard discography to get. They only have 4 albums. Working on a 5th one, I believe, which I am super excited about. Programmed to Consume. 2nd album by Abysmal. Very awesome. Yeah, I'm not talking about the bands all that much because I've got a separate thing for that. This is Leveling the Plane of Existence. Abysmal. But yeah, I have a music-related podcast called the Metal Gladiator Podcast. So I leave all the music talk for this. This is just a collection video, so I'm not going to be talking about the bands all that much. Abstinence, Abysmal. This was their latest album. Their latest album, and it came out, and you can't see it on camera, 2014. It's about time these guys release a new album. Unless they already have and I just missed it, but I don't think so. Abominable Purity. The Anomalies. I cannot talk today. The Anomalies of Artificial Origin. Nice digipack. Awesome band. Some cool groove death metal. Like old school death metal. Here's a classic thrash album, Among the Living by Anthrax. Classic album. Definitely, in my opinion, is definitely Anthrax's best album. And then I have Madhouse, the very best of Anthrax. Best of album, all the best of songs, all the other best songs. You know. Yeah. Anyway. This is going to finish up the A's. Arch Enemy, War and Turtle. I think this was the first album they did with the new single. Very cool album. I haven't heard the whole thing, but pretty awesome album. I'm glad to have it. My only Arch Enemy though. But I like Arch Enemy. I just don't listen. It's one of those bands that I like that I don't really listen to all that much. Next is Bad Blood by Bastille. One of the bands that kind of got me a little bit more open-minded, aside from just being the typical like metalhead that's like metal is everything kind of attitude, which I'm glad I don't have that attitude anymore, because there's a lot of other non-metal music that's awesome. Borrowed World by Bastille. This is the Digipack. Can't wait for the next album. Definitely trying to pre-order it. Well, I might not be able to pre-order it, but... Next, I have Evangelion by Behemoth. I talked about Behemoth in the first episode of my podcast, the Metal Gladiator podcast. So if you want to hear most of my thoughts on that, on this band, go watch that. It's got the DVD, bonus DVD, making of Evangelion. Pretty cool album. I like Behemoth. They're about as far into black metal I ever get. Got Beethoven. I love classical music. Two favorite genres is metal and classical. So yeah, the piano sonatas. Of course, like all this classical music doesn't really, especially like Beethoven and Mozart and stuff, they don't actually have like studio albums, so you just get CDs that have their stuff on it. But yeah, very cool. Beethoven's awesome. I've got this another Beethoven, Symphony Number 9 in D major. Yeah, pretty awesome. Yeah, I got these from a used place, so a lot of my CDs are going to have this annoying sticker. This is really hard to get off, and it's just kind of makes it worse getting it off, so I haven't really tried getting them off with a lot of them, so ignore that. Paranoid by Black Sabbath. Classic album. Arguably like the greatest metal album of all time. One of the most important metal albums of all time, really. You just gotta love it. I've never met, it's like no one ever knows of a metalhead that doesn't like this album. I don't think you can find anybody who claims to like metal to not like Black Sabbath. Black Sabbath Volume 4. Kind of scratched up. This was an old one that my dad just gave to me. So, good stuff. Sadly, those are the only Black Sabbath I have. Now we're going back into graphic death metal. So, Eaten Back to Life by Cannibal Corpse. It's the first Cannibal Corpse album. And the album title is just so confusing and it makes your head turn. Eaten Back to Life. Think about it. Just think about it. Drives people crazy. It's kind of fun. Yeah, this is a remastered, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Awesome album. This was a lot more groovy. It was kind of thrashy in a way. Of course, I don't want to dive too much into the stuff. I did a top 10 Cannibal Corpse albums in my podcast, the first episode. But I plan on going more in-depth in the Cannibal Corpse later in the future. Push it at both Cannibal Corpse. Super graphic, obviously, as you can see. Awesome album. They had to like wrap the CD. When this first came out, they wrapped it in like this white package, almost like it was like almost like an envelope, and it just said Cannibal Corpse, push it at both. So you had to buy the album to get it out. Next one's extremely graphic. Warning. Tomb of the Mutilated. Cannibal Corpse. Their most insane album. In terms of, it's not, this was, I mean, if you want to know, this was my number 2 in my top 10 Cannibal Corpse albums. My number 1 was Bloodthirst. But this album beats Bloodthirst in terms of, like, graphic content and stuff. Yes, I'm missing 2 other albums, but Gallery of Suicide, Cannibal Corpse. Not a bad album, but not like, I wouldn't consider it to be great. And of course, my favorite Cannibal Corpse album, Bloodthirst. I'll definitely be showing this off in my vinyl collection video, which I don't know when I'm going to do that. I'll talk a little bit more about that near the end of this video. But yeah, favorite Cannibal Corpse album, love it. I can't get over how good the production is of this album. It's insane. Every chance I get to talk about that album, I almost always talk about how the production is incredible. Grow Obsessed, Cannibal Corpse. Kind of went downhill after Bloodthirst, but in my opinion, they're never going to be able to top Bloodthirst. The rest is Spawn Digipack with the bonus DVD. This right here was like the censored artwork. Got the bonus making of DVD. Kill by Cannibal Corpse. It's the most least graphic artwork. You cannot even say that it's artwork. But it's cool. It was a good album. Evisceration Plague by Cannibal Corpse. This is the digipack with the bonus DVD, styled in the same way as Retro Spawn. Torso by Cannibal Corpse. This was the first Cannibal Corpse album I ever got. It's back when I had like 30 CDs. I now have 200, so pretty crazy. You can tell how many times I've like listened to it and stuff because I've got like thumb marks on this. Because when you have like 30 albums, 20 albums, you listen to a few more than once. Very cool disc too. Yeah, it's Torso, Cannibal Corpse. And then the last of the Cannibal Corpse, a Skeletal Domain. I have not gotten their new album yet. I haven't really listened to Red Before Black that much, but this one was awesome. I was at constant battle with myself of which album I liked more, Torso, Skeletal Domain. Carnifex, Die Without Hope. Pretty cool artwork. That stupid sticker that's bugging me. That's Digipack. I've never really heard these guys before, but I have one of their albums. I don't think I've listened to any of these songs on this album. I don't think I've listened to anything. No, I've listened to a couple stuff on their new album, I think. Life Song by Casting Crowns. Should pretty much describe how my musical taste in some ways. Gotta go from Cannibal Corpse to Casting Crowns. The Altar and the Door, Casting Crowns. Oh, I didn't let you see the disc on the last one, but that's okay. Yeah, good band, but Cream of Clapton. It's like a little compilation album. Yeah, Clapton stuff and Cream stuff. They've got like the first 5 songs of Cream and other stuff he's been in, you know. Yeah. It's classic stuff. I've always liked Clapton. Human Clay by Creed. Creed is an awesome band. I really like him. So this, I think, their best album. Of course, I haven't heard like all their albums, but I think it's really good. Weathered by Creed. Also an awesome album. It's got One Last Breath on it, so that's like their most popular song. We got Leprosy by Death. Classic death metal album. Amazing. Sadly, this isn't first press, but it's fine. Music is music. Symbolic by Death. In my opinion, well, I don't know if I want to say their best album, but I definitely plan on going more in depth. I plan on going more in depth with death. Try to make, but I'm stupid. Anyway, slipcover. Awesome CD. This is my first death album. And then you got The Sound of Perseverance. Also in a slipcover. And oh my goodness, this album blows me away. It's got the 2-disc special edition. It's not a DVD, it's just got like all kinds of like demos and stuff on the second disc, like live versions, or a couple songs, no bass. It actually says no bass, so yeah. Make a ton of band jokes with that. Triptych by Demon Hunter. This was one of the, besides from like Rust in Peace, South of Heaven, some Anthrax and Ozzy Osbourne, Black Sabbath, like this was one of the first metal albums I really got into. Demon Hunter was awesome. I adore this album. So yeah, that's awesome. And then I also have the special edition of the same album and the slipcover. It's really cool because the slipcover is different artwork from the actual jewel case. Oh my goodness. Don't do that. Special edition with the bonus DVD, and it came out again. Oh my gosh. No, none of that. I don't want that. Awesome album. Storm the Gates of Hell by Demon Hunter. Yeah, I need more Demon Hunter. This is all I've got with the CDs. And I've got, as you saw in my last video, I've got War and Peace. But All Hell Breaks Loose by Destruction. Some awesome German thrash metal. This is a limited edition digipack. Actually says it right here. Limited to 2,000 copies. This is copy 716. So pretty cool. I like it when not all stuff do that. Not all limited editions actually say what number it is or anything. But I like how it does that. Same with this one. The Antichrist. Destruction. I mean, if you like thrash metal and you haven't heard this band, I don't know what you're doing with your life. Destruction is amazing. Destruction, Sodom. I don't have any Sodom. I I don't have any Sodom. Oh my goodness. Anyway, I'm freaking out now. Limited 2,000 copies as well. Copy 911. Awesome stuff. Germans can make thrash metal, man. Got a classic album here, Holy Diver by Dio. You've got to have Dio in your life. I feel sorry for anybody who's never heard Dio. I seriously do. It's a pity. It's so sad. The very beast of Dio. Best of album. It's got all their original albums, which is really cool. So I can always look at this and see which ones I need, which I only have Holy Diver. So I need all these. Yeah. Awesome stuff. Got some classic 80s like hair metal here. Dokken, Tooth and Nail. I like Dokken. They're awesome. Back for the Attack, Dokken. Yeah, it's older albums, so they don't have like the special cool disc, you know. But this one has Into the has Dream Warriors. I thought it had Into the Fire, but I guess it doesn't. Dream Warriors. That's probably my favorite Dokken song. Tooth and Nail had Into the Fire. Sorry, keep hitting the tripod. An introduction to Dokken, kind of like a little best of thing, but an introduction too. So, only got 10 songs on it. And anybody who wants to get into Dokken, get this album, because it's an introduction to Dokken. Duh. That's why it's called that. Idiot. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call you an idiot. Anyway. Oh God Save Us All by Disciple. Cool band that I don't listen to as much. Not a lot of bands. There's a lot of bands out there that I don't listen to often, but I like them. Obviously, it's CDs in my collection, so of course I like the band. So yeah, Disciple, good stuff. I like a lot of their classic stuff. I still like their new stuff, but their old albums are amazing. Indestructible by Disturbed. Disturbed is one of those bands that are good, but kind of get old quickly. Like I have to be in a certain mood to listen to them. But yeah, this is probably their best album, really. Well, I don't know. Immortalized was pretty cool. Asylum by Disturbed. It's like this really cool special edition digipack thing. It's got the CD, the album, and then the DVD. Special edition DVD. A video documentary called Decade of Disturbed. Pretty cool. We got The Lost Children by Disturbed. Pretty cool album. Although I don't know. It's not one I listen to a lot, but it's cool. I wouldn't say it's their worst, but... Oh, I forgot about this. It's a little 3 CDs best of the Beatles songbook thing. Meant to show that when I was in the bees. Yeah. Doesn't have Blackboard, so kind of disappointing, but still good. I like the Beatles. There's an album I've never listened to, never heard the band. I got this because the band name sounded cool and the artwork looked cool. This is Dismember and The God That Never Was. So yeah, I can't say anything about this band because I've never heard them, but they're in my collection. I got this purely based on the artwork, which I've discovered some pretty cool bands based on doing that. Like, just buy the artwork, buy the CD based on the artwork, and then I end up becoming a fan of the band. It's War of Attrition by Dying Fetus. Awesome band. Hardcore technical death metal. Descend into Depravity. Dying Fetus. Awesome stuff. Like, this album is amazing. We're going into more progressive metal. Sorry, I keep hitting the tripod. Sorry. Ugh. Anyway. Images and Words. Dream Theater. Second album. I have the first one, if you probably saw, in my cassette collection. But awesome album. Classic. You can't hate prog metal. It's amazing. Change of Seasons by Dream Theater. I have this one on cassette also, which you probably saw. Amazing song. Still haven't heard all the covers that they do, because they do a lot of covers. They only have one original song, A Change of Seasons, on this album. But they have like 30 minutes, or like, yeah, pretty much 30 minutes of like covers and stuff, which I have not heard. Train of Thought by Dream Theater. This was my first Dream Theater album that I ever got. Got me into the band. Kind of opened the gateway to progressive metal and stuff. Even though I liked Rush, I was into Rush before I was introduced to Dream Theater, but I just... progressive metal. More of the metal side of the progressive music. This was the album that got me into it. Train of Thought. Awesome. And now I've got the special slipcover edition of Systematic Chaos by Dream Theater, which has the CD and the making of DVD. It's very cool. It's a very cool album. Black Clouds and Silver Linings. The last album that had Mike Portnoy. It's sad, but fantastic album. Then I've got Live at Budokan, Dream Theater. This is just the CD, obviously this isn't the DVD, but one of the best live concerts DVDs I've ever seen. Like, fantastic. Listen to it. It's like almost a 3-hour concert, but it's so good. Watch it. Listen to it. I don't think the whole thing's on YouTube, but you know, get the DVD. Bonded by Blood by Exodus. It's in the original, obviously, so it's not first press or anything. Still cool. Classic thrash metal album. Gotta love it. A little slipcover edition of the Atrocity Exhibition, Exhibit A by Exodus. I love it when bands do this. It's like, it's a slipcover, but like the artwork on the jewel case is different from the slipcover. It's awesome. So yeah, I love Exodus, man. The Thrash Kings. They should have been in the Big Four, not Anthrax. I mean, I like Anthrax, but Exodus are thrash metal kings. So, Exhibit B, The Human Condition. This album is... I forgot about that. But yeah, it's kind of broken. I kind of got a broken copy. But it's all good. CD's still intact, so... But yeah, fantastic album. Got Planetary Duality by the Faceless. Slipcover. Awesome. This is an amazing concept album. Definitely a band I want to go more into on my podcast. I'm going to be mentioning my podcast a lot on this. Okay, let's just assume that pretty much everything in my CD collection I'm going to want to talk about in my podcast. There, how's that? Autothesium. Slip cover. I don't have their first album or their new one in Becoming a Ghost. So, getting on to that. This is another one that I apparently is kind of broken. Forgot about that as well. But yeah, awesome album. The first 3 songs are fantastic. This is one of the bands that can pull off like clean vocals in death metal. It's amazing. Speaking of clean vocals, I've got some power metal here. Falconer, my only Falconer album. Chapters from a Veil Forlorn. The second album. Awesome stuff. Got this used at a used shop. It's the Fayetteville Symphony Orchestra 50th Anniversary Concert. Fayetteville, North Carolina, I assume. That's where I got it, from Fayetteville, North Carolina. So I haven't really listened to it yet. It was classical music, so I love classical music, so of course I'm going to listen to it. Or get it, you know. Alright, got King by Fleshgod Apocalypse. Kind of, it is their weakest album, but still a fantastic album. King. The only album I've got on CD, so definitely plan on getting the rest, because Fleshgod Apocalypse, my 2 favorite genres really is like classical and metal, so I really like death metal, so when you get those bands combining the 2 genres, you know, it's so amazing. This was one of the albums that I got purely based on the artwork. I didn't know anything about this band, didn't know anything. I just saw the artwork, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool artwork, so I'm gonna get this album. Now I'm a big fan. Colored Sands is by Gorguts. This is a fantastic album, definitely talking about this in the future. Awesome. This is one of those albums that really makes you start thinking. This was one of the albums that really made me start to view metal musicians as composers rather than just guitarist, drummer, bass, vocalist, you know? Because so good. Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 1 by Helloween. Some awesome classic power metal here. Awesome stuff. Love Helloween. I don't have Part 2, sadly. That album came out in '87, and the only other album I have by Helloween came out in 2013, Straight Out of Hell. This was my introduction to Helloween, so I had a modern introduction to like a band from the 80s, but I love all their stuff. Awesome album. Fantastic album. Gotta love power metal. Speaking of power metal, well, we're not to that band yet, but Ice-Earth, Something Wicked This Way Comes. Got mixed feelings on this band, but this album is definitely fantastic. This was another album that I kind of bought based on the artwork. Didn't know anything about this band. I was like, hey, this looks cool, I'm gonna pick it up. And discover a band from it. Alright, now we're moving into probably my favorite death metal band. Got Immolation, Unholy Cult. This was one of my more recent purchases. Awesome band. Great album too. Majesty and Decay. Flawless album. Absolutely flawless. Most of their albums are. I mean, come on, this is Immolation. This was my first Immolation. This was my introduction to Immolation, which, it's amazing. And I've got the digipack of the most recent release, Atonement, which I got. I did a bundle unboxing almost 2 years ago now of this album, because I actually got a little bundle of the digipack here that I have in my hand, the vinyl and the cassette, which I had in my last video. So if you want to see what the vinyl of this, if you want to look at the vinyl before I come out with a vinyl collection video, go back on my YouTube channel and find that video. I'm gonna drink. Okay. Awesome death metal from Inferi, Revenant. This album is fantastic. I love it.